Hey, this is Whitney McDermott with Keepin Global Ministries. I wrote a blog this past weekend titled Who Has Held You Back? And I wanted to do a video on it and talk about it for a few minutes, if that's all right with you. I recently went to a service where they had people stand up and give their testimonies about how God had brought them through the pain and the struggles and the disappointments that they had faced in life. And as I was listening to the speakers and watching them, I would look around the crowd and the Holy Spirit started talking to me. And he asked me a question, and he asked, who has held you back? And it was something he just kept repeating in my spirit. Who has held you back? Who has held you back? And it wasn't something that he was just speaking to me individually, but it was over the entire crowd. Who has held you back? Who has held him back? Who has held her back? Who has held you back? And it's from the verse in Galatians 5:7-8 where it says, you are running the race so well. Who has held you back from following the truth? It certainly isn't God, because He's the one that called you to freedom. And it was then that I realized that we've all had a moment or a season in our lives where we were doing so well. We were communicating with God, we were hearing from Him, we were in the Word, we were praying, we were encouraged, we were uplifted, we were on fire for God, and then something or someone came in and distracted us and held us back from doing and being all that God created us for. And for a lot of us, it's been a person. It's been the parent that neglected us. Or it's been that teacher that said we would never amount to anything. It was that boyfriend or that girlfriend or that husband or wife that left us and devastated us. It was that person that laughed at the dreams that God put in our heart and made us feel inadequate and inferior. For some of us, it's been that person that had our heart and broke it and walked away and never even looked back. And for some of us, it's not necessarily a person as much as it is a situation. It was that divorce that you can't get past and that you live with every day. I once heard a pastor say that he'd gotten a divorce and it felt like a D had been stamped over his head because that's all he saw when he looked in the mirror. And that's all that he felt other people saw whenever they looked at him. And that's how he felt was his worth, was all from that divorce. For some of us, it's been a sickness or a disability or a health issue that has held us back. For some, it's been the way you were raised or your class or your economic state that's held you back. You've never had enough, or you've never felt like you were enough, or you just can't get enough, and that's held you back. And so we've experienced these people and we've experienced these situations, and they've actually come to define us. We define ourselves by the broken relationships and the broken people that we've encountered, and we define ourselves by the broken situations and the circumstances that we went through. And it completely changes the course that we're on. And we were doing so well, but then we were held back. And my question for you today is, how long? For some of you, it's been a week. For some, it's been a month. For some, it's been a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30, 40. Some of you have been living 50 years or more, being defined by the people and the circumstances that you faced. And my question to you is, how long? How much longer are you going to let those people and those situations define you? God was speaking to me and He said, you're going to go through those situations, you're going to meet those people, but are they going to define you or will they refine you? Are you going to let yourself and your value come from those situations and those people? Or are you going to learn from it and become better from it and get through it so that way you can go out on the other side and live a blessed life, live a good life with God, and be able to help people and minister to them and be a living testimony of restoration and what God can do in your life? The choice is yours. You can be healed and delivered and restored from those hurts and those disappointments in the past, or you can continue to live in the bondage that they create. Because with God, He puts no limits on you. In verse 8 in Galatians 5, it even says, it certainly isn't God talking about that held you back, for He is the one who has called you to freedom. With God, there aren't any limits. You can become everything that He created you to be, and you can do everything that He created you to do. But when you define yourselves by situations and by people, you'll always have limitations on you. You'll never be able to become greater than that relationship with that person or that situation that you went through, because you can never become greater than the person or the situation that you can't overcome. So that's what I want you to ask yourself and be completely open and honest. How much longer? You were doing so well. Everything was great. You were doing what you were supposed to do, and you got distracted and you got off track, and someone held you back. Some situation held you back. And forgive yourself for it and say, how much longer? How much longer are you going to miss out on the life that God has for you? And how much longer are you going to not be the person that God has created you to be? Because each day, each minute, each hour that passes you by, you are missing out on the blessed life that God has for you. And you're living so much under your potential that I don't even think you realize it. So it's time to step out and start being who God created you to be, and letting those situations refine you, not define you. So be brave, step out of that comfort zone, and really step into who God has created you to be and the life that He's created you to live. Because I know it's in you, and it may have been covered, and it may be deep down because of all the hurts and disappointments, but I'm declaring over you that it's coming out, and it's time to start living the life like you're supposed to and get back on track. So thank you so much for watching. I'm praying for you all. I love you all. If you haven't liked us on Facebook yet, look up Keepin Global Ministries, or you can visit our website at www.keepinitglobal.com. Be blessed.